what is your company doing about this potential environmental disaster?
First of all, I'd like to express my deep regrets and apologies to the Sri Lankan people for the harm this incident has caused both to their livelihood and to the environment of Sri Lanka. What we are doing, we have engaged, since the incident started about 10 days back, we have engaged the ITOP, which is an International Tanker Oil Pollution Fund, who are experts in monitoring environmental problems. And we have been on the case since then. I would just like to say that so far there have been, and this is true for Singapore 5 p.m. today, there have been no oil pollution detected.
Mr. Yoskovitz, this looks to be a total loss of the Express Pearl, though, and claims could swell from here, depending on what happens with the rest of this ship. How much could this cost you?
Are very hard to assess. The cost, sorry, is very hard to assess currently, but we are insured, and the direct financial burden on Express will be very limited.
So there is also the question of reparations and compensation for Sri Lanka and its people, though.
Absolutely. This is being now assessed, but we need to bear in mind that this will be a long process at looking, first of all, to see when this incident will be over, and then to assess the total damages. We have already started engaging the Sri Lankan Authority, both the Marine Environmental Protection Agency, and we are working in cooperation with Sri Lankan Navy. Some cleaning up of beaches has started. We need to remember that Sri Lanka now is under a lockdown. It is very hard to mobilize people, and we are very thankful both to MIPA and to the Navy for mobilizing people. We have contributed from our side some heavy equipment to help clean up the beaches, but we cannot engage now Sri Lankan people. It is only the responsibility of the authorities because of the lockdown.
Mr. Yoskovitz, you've apologized to the people of Sri Lanka for what's happened. You've just described the fact that you're working with several segments of the Sri Lankan government. Can you give us a little bit more information about the progress that you're actually seeing?
The current, maybe I will start with the situation of the vessel. So the vessel, since yesterday, the vessel's aft has sunk. It is now laying on the seabed at about 21 meters, and its forward part is slowly sinking. To assess the real situation, we will need to wait for the wreck to settle on the seabed, and then see what really can be done. Currently, what the salvors are doing, they are monitoring the wreck and making sure that any debris or, God forbid, the oil spill will be detected quickly and handled accordingly.
Well, you've just told us that the ship did request help, but there were reports as suggested that they were not permitted to offload those containers in two ports in question after that leak was discovered. I'm wondering, could you comment more on this, because perhaps a disaster could have been avoided?
First of all, just to correct you, it was one container leaking, not multiple containers. It's very hard to assess what caused the fire. There were many commodities on board the vessel, and there was one container leaking. So it does lead to a most probable cause, but we are not 100% sure, and I would like to emphasize this. There are many incidents like that at sea, and sometimes terminals and ports are able to help, and sometimes not. There is an International Maritime Dangerous Goods Convention that accordingly the crew has handled this leak. And so far, what we have checked, they have handled it correctly. And this is how, and this was true until the 20th of May when we detected the smoke.
Poor packaging has been blamed for the acid leaks that likely started the fire. How often is inadequate packaging for chemical contents the cause of such fires in containerized cargo? And are future fire disasters waiting to happen if this problem isn't urgently addressed?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Shipping companies throughout the past few years have been trying to raise awareness to this. You need to remember that we load containers that are signed and sealed, and we don't open them. We are dependent on the declaration and the professionality of our shippers, that they will pack the containers correctly and that they will declare them correctly. And over the past few years and throughout history, actually, there have been countless incidents of fires, not to talk about leaks, which happen probably on a weekly basis, which we don't hear, thank God, because catastrophe has not happened.
Shmuel Yoskovitz, the CEO of Express Feeders, thank you.